from RTO here. Before we start today, I'd just like to apologise for the late delay of yesterday's Wishbone Ash. Now, I've updated my video suite that I use to produce all these good stuff, and yesterday it just wasn't playing. There was a little blip in it, so I had to take it off the system and reboot it, and it takes time, so that's why it was late. But these things are sent to try us. Anyway, it's Thursday, live stream day of course, and it's Battle of the Debuts. Now, we've been doing a little thing this month of the best sellers. This is the last one before we go back to the normal format of the actual debut albums. So today I thought I would do a United States versus United Kingdom. It's also the Battle of the Sexes as well. Representing the United States, we have Mr. Bruce Springsteen. And representing the United Kingdom, we have Miss Kate Bush. The albums we're going to be looking at, the best-selling album from Bruce was Born in the USA, and from Kate it was Hounds of Love. Two albums that I absolutely love. Got fond memories of these. This is when I was going back to 85. I was coming up, I was 19, 20, that sort of age. So I was really into my music, and these were two albums that I really loved. So as normal, we'll go through who comes up first, who released first, and that was the boss, Bruce Springsteen. I'm not going to go too much through his career. We've covered him quite a lot on the channel. He's sort of my sort of generation's Bob Dylan. His music style is about songs, about stories and people, and very poetic. So, Born in the USA, can't believe it was only his 7th album, and it was released by Columbia Records on the 4th of June 1984. So this one, I wasn't even 18, I was 17 years old. And it's with the E Street Band, of course. And so with Bruce, it was Roy Bittan on piano and synthesizers, the wonderful Clarence Clements on saxophones, Danny Federici on the organs and glockenspiels, Gary Talent on the bass, Steve Van Zandt on the guitars, and the wonderful Max Weinberg on the drums. So the first track on here, of course, is the title track, Born in the USA. Really, really good song. Very iconic track now. He does a really good acoustic version of it now, and it's really quite even more moving than it was. Then it's got more meaning. Second up is Cover Me. Loved Steve Van Dant's guitar work, and this is a catchy tune, one of the best tracks on this album for me. I do like that. Then we get Darlington County, that opening riff, the cowbell from Max, just another solid track. Then we get Working on the Highway, again one of them sort of real upbeat tracks with a great vocal from Bruce, and you've got that lovely guitar from Steve Van Dant. Terrific track. Downbound Train comes next, super song. Great bass line from Gary Talent. It's a super little song. I really like that one. Then we get I'm on Fire, another quirky track. Love the keyboard in this, and I love Bruce's vocals, and I love the words on this song. It is really strong stuff. Then we get No Surrender. Now this is one of the tracks on the album that I was never particularly a fan of, and I was listening to it the other week and I've got a little bit more fondness for it now. I don't know why, I just find it, I might sort of how I've changed. I think I don't know if I'm getting older, and I listen to the words and I think, oh, this is a good song from Bruce. Then we got Bobby Jean. Now this is another track that I was never a great lover of, and I still don't really like it. It's probably the weakest track for me on this album. Then we get I'm Going Down. Love the riffs in this, great song. I love Max's drumming. I think he's a terrific drummer. I just love watching him drum on the live stuff. He just sits there and he's sort of in total command. He's always raised up and he sort of commands what everyone else does. It's really good to watch him, and that's a great track. Glory Days, it's one of them songs that everybody seems to do and it gets played on the radio. But I remember him coming out doing this at Paul McCartney at Glastonbury, which was pretty cool. It's not, but it's still overplayed, although I think at the time I loved it. It's just overplayed these days. Okay, Dancing in the Dark. Right, when it came out, I thought this was really good. I brought the single before I got the album. I think it was a great song, but now again it's overplayed. I remember the video. It's got Courtney Cox in it. It brings her out the crowd. Okay, it was all planned, but it worked. I know it's overplayed now, but is it a good song? Yeah, it was a big hit for him, and you can't deny that. And then we get my favourite track, the last track, My Hometown. Now, the reason this has always been my favourite track, I think it doesn't matter where you were born. Your hometown is your hometown. And I think he's wrote this about his hometown, but it can relate to anybody's hometown. You know, I'm born and bred here in Northampton, and again, you know, this song I can relate to, and I think this is a fantastic song, one of his best songs. The words are fantastic. It's just a solid track to end this really strong album. As I said, I love this album. It was the first Bruce Springsteen album that I brought. I hadn't heard much of him, but I am a huge fan now. Obviously I'd heard Born to Run and I knew that song, but I've got fond memories of this from 1984. That's what I thought of it. So what did the old critics think? They're the ones I think it. So when this came out, it was lauded by many critics whilst also generating some controversy. Retrospectively, Pitchfork called it the bold and brilliant and misunderstood apex of Bruce Springsteen's imperial era. Dave Marsh for the Rolling Stone deemed it could be the artist's most accessible and listenable since Born to Run. I'd say that. The magazine's Debbie Miller said, as well thought as Nebraska, which I've never been keen on, but more sophisticated with spirit. While the album finds its centre... Hang on, why does it always happen? While the album finds its centre in cheering rock songs, its final two songs on either side are extraordinary in depth. Yeah, because he can tell stories. Robert Hilburn from Los Angeles noted the album's richer music settings allowed Springsteen to reach a wider audience. Village Voice Robert Christgau, my favourite reviewer in America, Welcome the absence of dejected themes of nostalgia and losers, along with the tougher lyrics of a sense of humour. With an upbeat worldview, it delivered what teenagers loved about rock and roll. I was a teenager then, and yes, I can. And it's just playing good sound. So we actually like this one for a change. And it was voted the best album in 1984 in America. So there we go. So let's have a look at the ratings. AllMusic gave it 5 stars. Chicago Tribune 4 out of 4 stars. Christel's Record Guide gave it an A+. Good grief. The Encyclopedia Music gave it a 3. Don't know what they're talking about. Los Angeles Times gave it a 4. Music Hound Rock gave it a 4 out of 5. And something's just fallen down. Oh, it's the Sky album. I'll pick it up later. Rolling Stone gave it 5. The Rolling Stone Album Guide 5. And Saturday Review gave it 5. Certifications and sales. Well, this sold 30 million copies worldwide. 30 million. Platinum 14 times in Australia. 3 times in Denmark. 2 times in platinum in Finland. 2 times for Germany. New Zealand. Now, New Zealand is a very small place. 17 times platinum. Wow. Practically everybody in New Zealand brought it. Switzerland, it was 3 times. Here in the UK, 3 times. And 17 times platinum. In America, of course, where it sold 17 million copies. A lot of copies. So let's have a look at the nuts and bolts of this one. Song quality, as ever. Bruce delivers some great songs. When you sit and read through the lyrics of all the songs on this album, they had great lyrics. There's a lot of stories. You can tell a lot of it's personal, and he put it to great tunes. Terrific. Absolutely terrific. So I'm going to give that a 5 out of 5. Production. Now this is where it sort of lets it down in places. It's a half a good quality, but it's got that 80s tone and that accessible tone. Now here, when you hear these tracks live, like on the box set, they sound a little more grunty. So I'm going to give production 4 out of 5. Now for reception, everybody loved it, and to be around when this came out was something incredible, because, you know, we hadn't heard much of him over here in the UK at that time. The odd track. But when this came out, it sort of blew us all away. So I'm going to give, for reception, 5 out of 5. Cover design, I would say this is one of the most recognisable album covers. It's iconic, and it's always featured in the best album covers, top 10 album covers of all time. So I'm going to give that a 5 out of 5. So for Bruce Springsteen's Born in the USA, give us a total of 19 out of 20. Huge marks. Can Kate come up with the guts? So, Kate Bush, CBE. Songwriter, musician, dancer, record producer extraordinaire. Burst onto the scenes in 1978, where she was signed and helped by Mr. David Gilmour, no less, who produced her demo tape. Loads of albums. I love Kate Bush. I think Kate Bush, it's like Marmite, you're either love her or hate her. There's no or she's okay. You're either a huge fan or you don't like her. Simple as. But there are a lot of people that like Kate Bush. And of course, there's one song that the kids love because it's in that series on Netflix that I don't know the title of because I don't watch it. So, her best-selling album was her 5th album, from 1985, The Hounds of Love. God, I remember getting this. I was, how old was I? I was 18, 19, something like that. So the first track on this album is the track that's really got her to a #1 last year because of Stranger Things. That's what it's called, isn't it? It popped in my head. Running Up That Hill. Oh, I love this. But it's now becoming overplayed, which is it a good thing? Well, at least the kids are getting into this track, and a lot of youngsters love this track, and I can understand why, because it is a fab track. I love her vocals on that. Oh, wonderful. Second track is the title track, Hounds of Love. Love the drumming in this. Brilliant track. Classic. I love the vocal in this. And the production on this is fantastic. I just love this song. It's so rich. Let me get one of the cut tracks off this album, The Big Sky. Just a fantastic track again. Love the African vibe to this with the drumming. It's very uplifting. Fantastic track. Then we get Mother Stands for Comfort. Now this is so ambient, gentle, atmospheric. Wonderful vocal from Kate. And then we get my favourite song ever from Kate Bush, Cloudbusting. This is just phenomenal, backed up with a phenomenal video that featured Donald Sutherland, of course. That's a lovely arrangement. Just a fantastic track. Then we flip it over, then we get And Dream of Sheep. Everything on here. Lovely piano. Kate's a great piano player. Brilliant. Nice guitars here. Fantastic track. Now side 2 is a more deep cut track side than side 1, and it's got some of the best tracks on the album. Under Ice, the strings, oh, and that eerie vocal, one of Kate's eerie vocals, really adds depth and texture to that one. Waking the Witch, mixture of stuff, some nice guitar riffs, church bells. It's Kate at a wonderfully weirdness. Brilliant track. Watching You Without Me, very progressive in places, and I love the textures on this. The Jig of Life, it's got that Celtic feel on this. Absolutely stunning. Love that track. The Morning Fog, ambient acoustic guitar. I think the guitar work on this is fantastic. That was the last track. This is a truly amazing album. It's post-progressive. It's almost a concept album. Structured. Absolutely flows brilliant. One of the best albums of the 80s, without a doubt. I will be doing a little short on this in the near future, because I think it deserves. All the tracks are great, and I only put 4 tracks in the thing, but I think you need to listen to all these little bits. So that's what I think of it. I just love this album. So what did the reviews, the critics? So here in the UK, most of the reviews of the album at the time of its release were overwhelmingly positive. In a 5-star review, Sounds called The Hounds of Love dramatic, moving, wildly, unshamedly beautiful, romantic. There you go. And the person says, if I was allowed to swear, I'd say The Hounds of Love is brilliant. Well, there you go. But Mum won't let me. Record Mirror also gave it 5 stars, stating it recaptures the ground that Kate lost with her last album. Well, I liked the previous album, so I don't know why. A howling success. NME said the Hounds of Love is definitely weird. No, it's not. It's brilliant. They don't understand nothing. So in the US, though, it was mixed, awarding the record the Plateau de Jour album of the day. They said that Kate creates music that herbs no boundaries of musical structure and inner expression. The reviewer noted while her electrism is welcome and rewarding in her homeland, her genius is just still ignored here, a situation that is truly a shame for an artist that's so adventurous, naturally theatrical, and hope that this album might gain some well-deserved recognition in the Americas. So let's have a look at the ratings. AllMusic gave it 4 and a bit stars. Los Angeles Times gave it 4. Mojo gave it a 5. Pitchfork a 10 out of 10. Q at 5. Rolling Stone 4 stars. Smash Hits 9 out of 10. Sounds, although they criticised it, gave it 5 stars. Spin Alternative Record gave it an 8 out of 10, and The Village Voice a B. Let's have a look at its certifications. Platinum in Canada, gold in France, platinum in Germany, gold in Netherlands, and 2 times platinum over here. So it sold 1 million copies here, and then 206,000 in America, which is pretty good for her. So let's have a look at the nuts and bolts of this one. Song quality. Fantastic songs. Fantastic writer. 5 out of 5. Production. Wonderful production. She produces all her own stuff and she's quite a perfectionist. And I would give that 5 out of 5. Reception. It was well received. Even they loved it in America. Huge album over here. And to the fact that it's still, the Hounds of Love is still popular because it was on a TV show. I'm going to give that a 5 out of 5. Cover design. Oh, this is where it sort of lets it down. I think it could have been a better cover. A better picture of Kate would have been better, and a bigger picture of Kate. You know, it's too small. Although I do like the picture. It's very plain. I mean, I think the best picture of they could have they'd have used it is on the back of the whole story where you've got the telescope from Cloudbusting. That would have been a better picture. So I'm going to give that a 4 out of 5. So for Hounds of Love by Kate Bush, gives us a title of 19 out of 20. So we've got a draw today. And guess what? I don't know what to do. But I love Bruce Springsteen. Don't get me wrong, he's a fantastic musician, songwriter. But he's up against my favourite female artist of all time. So I'm going to be a bit biased today, and I'm going to go for a Kate win because I adore everything that she's done. I'm a huge fan of Kate Bush. But you may disagree with me, as you frequently do. So, you know the drill. You can decide who wins this one, of course. They'll be in the community. There'll be a poll in the live stream tonight. Now we know how to put it up. It'll be there as ever. And just put your comments. So that's a tough one. I think this will be a tough one. Me and Dave were talking about this, and he thinks it'll be a tough decision. So Next week we go back to the normal format, and then in a couple of months' time we'll do another special, month specials. I think the next special we'll do will be put live albums up against each other. Bit different. Okay then, I'll be back very shortly after I've had a cup of tea, and we've got pick and mix, and this week we're in the camera's view, so we're looking at a DVD this week, and it is from prog giants Emerson, Lake and Palmer, and it's the concert they recorded when they did that reunion in the 80s, 90s, sorry, get me right, decade, and it was recorded at the Royal Albert Hall in London. So I shall be going through that. So join me for that if you love your prog. Bye for now.